DJT's new 2026 budget goes into effect in less than a week on October 2nd. Within that budget are over $200 million in cuts to the Office of Violence Against Women. Now, as many of you have probably heard me mention before, I spent years as a program director to a domestic violence shelter, family shelter, and I can tell you that a lot of our funding hedged on the federal government and hedged on the Office of Violence Against Women, VOCA. Now, these cuts are going to simply be devastating. We have already started to see reports, especially in southern states where maybe other supplemental funding just doesn't exist, of massive, massive staffing cuts or shelters shuttering altogether. I saw somebody talk about they have now been laid off, and the director and the assistant director of that agency are going to try to run a two-woman show as long as they possibly can because so many survivors' safety of predominantly women and children hedge on these programs being allowed to remain in operation. Okay, these programs not only provide safe shelter, they also provide things like hotlines, things like safety planning, which is so important because when a survivor of DV leaves is the most dangerous time, and often that's when we see homicides happen. Now, this also includes things like legal help, things like support groups. The VOCA cuts are also going to affect SANE exams, SA nurse examinations. Now, SANE exams are what allow forensic evidence to be collected so that that case can be investigated and perhaps the perpetrator found. So without, all of these programs, what I am so concerned that we are going to start seeing is homelessness of women and children predominantly en masse. Many of you may not know that out of homeless women, 57% of them are homeless as a direct result of domestic violence, of family violence. Now, if that is now a woman with a child, that statistic raises to 80%. Now, if you have some pattern recognition going on, you might then connect the dots that we are seeing the criminalization of homelessness in this country. The criminalization of homelessness in this country. So I'm afraid what we're going to see is either women and children being forced to choose between being homeless, which is now a criminal offense, or staying in unsafe situations where their safety and their lives are on the line. We're going to see children's ACE scores, adverse child experience scores, skyrocket, which will then create health issues for them for decades to come or their entire lives. It's absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. So, like I said, these cuts go into effect in less than 1 week on October 2nd. I think that, my intuition is telling me that these southern states, red states, are going to likely be hit the hardest because they probably do not have other supplemental forms of funding like other grants, like strong donors. So I think this is just going to be devastating.